I feel that Lil Duval is a personality more than stand-up comedian.
If we just to just stand up, that whole list changes.
What? Nick Cannon.
He's like the 2 Chainz of stand-up. But he changed his name. He changed his name. He reinvented himself and exploded.
The ladies.
Very
The
true.
next
You
time,
definitely
Laughing
have to
Barrel,
give
more
it
ladies.
Back to the club manager part. He sells tickets.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, he's gonna be one of the hottest comics in the country in 5 years from now, or maybe a little less. He's gonna be in that group that everybody's talking about.
Welcome to a special edition of Black Hollywood Live Stand Up Sit Down. We are doing the top 10 hottest comedians list for 2014 in partnership with thelaughingbarrel.com. And I have a very esteemed panelists here who are live in studio. Excited to have all you guys here. Let's just go around the room and introduce everybody. Right here to my left, we have Charles Gooch, who is the general manager of the Comedy Union.
Yep.
Right? And he's also, you did Crack 'em Up, he's Tripping on Tuesdays.
Yep, I co-created.
At the Comedy Store.
Yes, sir.
Good to have you.
Honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And over here, we have Michelle Murdoch.
Hello.
How are you?
Great.
She is the founder of Fly Star Entertainment, and her credits include some of the past seasons of BET's Comic View, and she's one of the only female black producers in the country of great comedy. Promoters. Excuse me. And you could Crack 'em Up Thursdays at the Comedy Store.
So we just recently celebrated 10 years.
There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's strong. 10 years,
10
one
years
venue,
strong. Yes.
right? And just a very strong show.
Yes.
There you go.
And great comedians.
Great comedians as well. We have Frank Holder sitting across from me.
How are you?
I'm good, Frank. How are you?
All right.
You may know him. He's the founder and publisher of the Humor Mill, and the humormill.com is the
HumorMillMag.com.
humormillmag.com. Right. He's also covered comedy for the past 10 years. Right? He's a writer and producer as well. So good to have you here, Frank.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
And on the couch, Mr. Tony Baker, comedian, water lover.
I love water, man. And tacos.
Yeah, there you go. And Tony also you have some TV credits from Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Right. You also did We Got Next, which will be on Magic Johnson's Inspired Network.
Aspire.
Aspire.
Yeah,
As well as Stars in Black.
Yeah.
Listen, good to have all you guys here. I'm excited. This should be fun. I mean, we ask you not to hold back, but if you feel that you may need to, do what you got to do.
Okay, good.
All right, do it. But we'll have a friendly discussion. If anyone feels that that the list is incorrect, then you can definitely let us know. We'll talk about it. All right,
Let's do it.
so let's jump right into it. So now for the number 10 spot, we have a couple contenders because number 10 is still undecided. All right, so we're just gonna go down the list of people who could possibly be the number 10 top comedian for 2014. All right. First up, we have DeRay Davis. Now, we know DeRay has his brand new show on Game Show Network, which is Mind of a Man, on 21 Jump Street. He's also, had his Showtime special as well. So what do you guys think? Because, he does Mo Better Mondays at the Improv as well. Yeah, so you can see DeRay live.
Yeah. Every week.
Every week, yeah.
Every week.
DeRay is a great voice, and I think that we're going to be hearing a whole lot more about DeRay in the future. I think he's breaking out of just doing the club set, and now he's doing larger venues.
Yeah.
And act like DeRay, he's going to get a little bit more crossover appeal as he branches out and does more television, more film. And definitely, I think he should be on the list. With DeRay Davis, what you see is what you get.
It's true.
He's one of a kind, and I think that the general public has spoken very loud and clear about wanting to see him.
Just from the time that I've been working behind the scenes and I've just seen him grow, it's always great to see that. And like Gooch said, he's got a lot more to give, so just looking forward to seeing what what he has coming up.
Okay, Frank.
It's interesting. I would say DeRay's one of those comics who set out with the strategy to basically make it in Hollywood. He's, like Gooch said, he's been in, the comedy scene for years, but he didn't set out to be as a black comic. It just happened to, doing black comedy.
Yeah.
It just happens that he does, every Monday. But with his strategy, you've been seeing him in films for years. People just started noticing more recently because his parts have been getting bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was in The Fall. As a stand-up comic, DeRay's a beast. So
Yeah.
he might be offended if he's seeing us that he's number 10. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Well, it's the list. I know it's based off of one, social media, two, of course, the art of stand-up comedy, and so your actual stand-up performance, and then it's also on just your projects. And so if you've been cold and you haven't had anything for a little while, then that may kind of hinder your place on the list. And then also too, it's just marketability. It's like, is this someone who has that crossover potential, or is he just in the urban market? Is just in that urban sector. So all of that is really what they looked at the Laughing Barrel when they were putting this list together.
This conversation.
Okay, and then because 10 hasn't been decided yet, so we have a couple more contenders here fighting for this number 10 spot. Next up, Cat Williams.
No.
Now, we know Cat has been through his troubles as of late.
What?
But he's had sold out tours. His DVDs have sold great, and he's done movies. So and he is currently on tour right now. So I get, because Nichelle,
I mean, he has, many accomplishments and many specials, Comedy Central, the tours and all of that. But it's really what's going on behind the scenes. And there's a lot of comedians that are out here that are participating in life, working hard, being respectable. And I feel like they should be the ones that are, considered more so than Cat maybe next year, but the past of what we've seen it's not fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I know life isn't fair, but it's like there are other comedians that have been showing up. You book them, they're not slapping around people, they're not cussing everybody out, and just doing all of the things that TMZ seems to be reporting.
yeah,
So
all the extra curricular
extra
stuff that
so
isn't
they're
necessary.
focused. So whoever number 10 is should be. Other comedians should be able to look at it and respect it and say, wow. But this year, no.
You can't take away anything that Cat Williams has done, because he's done tremendous. I mean, for, is it 3 or 4 years straight, he did 100 city tours. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Playing some of the biggest arenas in the country. Where he's at as far as social media, and, I don't really see a presence, from him like that. His style of comedy is unique in his own. If we were to take away all of the personal, what's the best term I would use? The
Drama.
The
drama.
issues. Yeah.
If we would take away that and just look at what he's done on stage, I would think you would have to put him in the top 10 category based on achievement.
But I would disagree with one thing. If we're doing a top 10 list and we're doing it of the calendar year for this year, and you look at what Cat Williams has done from January to December of this year, he should not be on this list.
Good point.
But if you do it on the merits of what he's done in the past, yes, he's done several city tours, huge city tours. He's made Live Nation over almost $200 million.
Right.
Yeah.
2 years back to back, and that can't be disputed. I don't think Kevin Hart hasn't even done that. You know what I mean? So right now, if we're doing on past merits included of the
for
yes,
this,
one
this
thing.
calendar.
Right. But if we're doing it for
okay.
this calendar year, then no, he should not be on this list.
Then I would agree with Frank then.
Because on the list right now, how many cities has he done this year? Maybe 80, maybe 90, overall. And have they all been sold out? No. Can you dispute how good he's been getting lately? No, you can't. Within the last 6-7 months, he's been picking up steam harder than any comic recently and in recent memory. You can't deny that either. But if we're doing a list from January to December of what everybody's accomplishments is, he can't be on that list. He was in one film that was
Scary Movie 5.
Scary Movie 5. DeRay's been in. He was in Jump Street. He got the TV show. He got he's got another. He booked
G.I. Joe too.
He got G.I. He's booked a couple other things. So right now, G.I. Joe's still over precedent of him, which would land him in the 10th spot. Based on the two people we're looking at right now, he would be on and he wouldn't be. You know what I mean? So that's just my 2 cents.
Tony?
In terms of, I would agree. Like for the past year, Cat Williams has been relatively quiet, and like I haven't heard a lot about just some word around on how good his performances have been in terms of like he can still sell out a show just on the strength of his name.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a lot of social media presence. He barely tweets, and
Right.
But in terms of people knowing who he is and him when he's in prime, performance condition, like it's hard to, compete with Cat Williams.
If I can throw another thing in, we were talking, off camera earlier about some folks that are able to do arenas, and then some folks that are able to do just clubs. I've seen him be able to work both rooms, and successfully do that, and just the type of comedian he is. I would say let's give him a look.
Yeah,
to be in the
10th. The question is will that pimp thing phase out? You know what I mean? That's the question on him. Like, will the general audience get tired of seeing him do that pimp? Because that pimp thing he does is his signature thing.
Right.
But anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, but he's
so saying that I would put DeRay up already.
Okay.
DeRay's already moving up.
We have Donnell Rawlings. Right, Donnell's AKA Ashley Larry. He still uses that name, to help market himself. And he's I believe he was just on tour, or he's currently on tour. Like I know, like his tour has been kind of off and on, but he's been on the road, making people laugh. And so, how do you guys feel about Donnell being on the list, possibly being number 10 on the list?
He's funny. And that's not taking anything away from him. He's funny, but if you look at the totality of him, I don't know if I would put him there in the 10 spot. One thing I will say that the people that he has around him, which is great because MTV is pushing him, and he has the Guy Court thing, and he does a number of different things with MTV, and that's a great look, and it gives him a broader appeal. But translating outside of just stand up and just the club scene, I don't know if he could go bigger than that. That's just my opinion.
I feel like he's a good pick because he has crossover appeal. Like, white audiences get him, because I've seen him in action live. White audiences get him. He has that Chappelle Show brand, which is still very strong and still a major draw. So that'll bring out all types of demographics to his show. He has a distinct voice. Yeah. He's getting stronger as a comedian for one, and his voice stands out. Like it's him. Yeah. And this year has been a good one for him. He's hosting Guy Court. He's hosting that Stars show that I was a part of, and so he has the projects going. And like I said, the crossover appeal, he has acting roles under his belt. If you look at his IMDb, it's extensive. So, and this year, I feel like he made a lot of noise. He was popping up here and there, and Comedy Central specials and all that. So I feel like for this year, you can put him above Cat.
Okay.
And for me, that's just for me.
All right. Moving on to Michael Blackson. This guy, he's the African king of comedy, self-proclaimed. He's funny. He's been on Shaq, All-Star, his comedy special, stuff like that. So how do we feel about Michael Blackson possibly either taking the 10th spot over DeRay or Cat or Donnell? You guys are very quiet. Frank, you want to?
I love Michael. He's really easy to work with.
Very.
And that's huge for what we do.
Yeah.
And I know that he's, you know, on the road and doing all of that. So, you know, I have to honestly say I don't really know too much about what Mike has, you know, going on, but I know that the people still love him because I get calls for him. So.
I would say the same thing. So I would say, again, based on this list, if we're going by the parameters from January to December and what accomplishments you did on TV, film, and everything else, that's one thing. If you go based on funny, he's definitely right where he should be because he's funny. There's no doubt about that. But if you're basing the list on what you've accomplished in television and film and, you know, if you're doing it on social media alone, he's a beast on social media. There's no doubt about it. Like, you don't want to get in a crack session with him on social media because he'll put you out there.
Great to work with. And from a club manager's perspective, great.
Right.
And he's a draw.
Yeah.
And he's taken that motosoka and he has parlayed that into a pretty nice career.
Yeah.
He's funny though. Like he's one of those guys that when he's on stage, I'm just smiling the whole time. Whether I'm laughing or he's just funny, like a funny presence. The way he talks, I'm just smiling the whole time because it's just hilarious. But I can't, for the year, I can't put him above any of the previous three that we mentioned.
Okay. And we have Corey Holcomb. This guy, right? You know, you've seen him, Shaq All Star, you know, DVD specials and stuff like that, and so you know, and you see him live too. So how do we feel about possibly putting Corey as number 10 on the list?
He's a beast. So I'm like, well, who's the people ahead of him? Because he's a beast. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can't think of one time I've seen Corey go on stage and he bombed. You know, I can't think of it. I can't think of that at once. So I mean, he's got a dope radio show. I haven't heard it recently, but every time I heard it on radio, he's killing it. Every time I see him on stage, he's killing it. He always speaks his mind. There's one thing about Corey.
Yeah,
he's telling you how it
Right.
is, but he's funny. You know, he's very respectful, but he's funny. So
His voice is I want to say unique. It's not a TK Kirkland. It's Corey Holcomb. It's
he ain't got no gimmick, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's uniquely him. And what I've noticed through this year, from January up until this point, I've seen his audiences grow like crazy.
Yeah.
I've had the opportunity of being out on the road with him and see some things and just see not only his numbers, but the demographic of the audience.
Is that because of Shaq Comedy All-Star, you think?
I think partially because of that. One, because he has great management, and two, you know, just because when he goes into different cities, he'll do radio, and however he does radio, it pulls people out. It'll pull the young guys out and the older guys out. It'll pull the white ones out and the Hispanic ones out. And I've noticed that he would definitely be. It would be for me between him and DeRay right now in that 10th spot.
Yeah, I'd agree. Because he could be raunchy without being raunchy. That's what I like about him.
Right.
He's funny.
Definitely has the crossover appeal.
Yeah.
Like I hear people mention him, like, you know, all types of people mention Corey Holcomb or like, and you know, I know he does voiceover work because he has a great voice too. You know, he's been on the Cleveland show and stuff like that. So he definitely has that crossover, you know, thing going for him. And you can never underestimate the reach of radio.
Yeah.
If he has a hot radio show, he can fill up a club just on the strength of that.
Yeah.
Then when they come see him, he won't disappoint. He has his own perspective, his own point of view. You can just sit there and just be funny.
Yeah.
And I always
It's
respect
organic.
that. Like
Yeah.
as a, you know, someone in the audience and a fellow comedian, I'm like, man, you can just sit down and just rip. And hey, you know, it's a tough one now. You know, how many more people we
Last one, Ricky Smiley.
Oh, that was a
Okay.
minute.
But so we'll just talk about Ricky. You know, he has a Ricky Smiley morning show. He has the Ricky Smiley show on TV One. You know, he does the show on Fox, Dish Nation.
I see that one. I
Right.
like that one.
So what do you guys think about putting Ricky Smiley up as a contender?
Can I go first?
Yeah.
I don't think he should be on the list. in my opinion. And I'll say that this why, because he's not doing stand-up, because he's doing all those other things. Now, based on the list again of what you said, stand-up, including all those things, he's not doing one of the things that's on that list. He definitely is very hot in the market on those other things, but he's not doing stand-up. I mean, very, very, like he does it on the weekends when he can.
Yeah.
But overall, like compared to the other guys you have on the list who are doing stand-up every single week or somewhere, he's not doing it. So,
You know, if I could throw this out, I would put a D.L. Hughley on that list before I would a Ricky Smiley.
yeah.
I mean, simply because, you know, D.L. has a whole bunch of different projects, and he's in clubs or theaters every single weekend of the year. Every single week. He doesn't take a weekend off. As far as Ricky Smiley goes, as far the comedy, whatever we've heard from Ricky, I think we've heard it. And it's not going to change. And you know, funny guy, and he has added a lot to the comedy game.
Yeah.
But you know, that's what it is.
So, who will we put in the number 10 spot? DeRay, Cat Williams, Donnell Rawlings, Michael Blackson, or Corey Holcomb, or Ricky Smiley? Who do you guys wanna give that number 10 spot to?
DeRay.
Yeah,
DeRay? We have
I would say
two for DeRay.
I went
Three?
Yeah, I guess
Three for DeRay. That's majority. So we'll throw DeRay. That's majority. So DeRay is number 10. All right. Moving on to number 9, Deon Cole.
Oh, Deon.
Right, Deon is a stage favorite. You know, he's a writer for Conan O'Brien. He got his own TV show. You know, Black Box was also on TBS, and you know, he's also been on the Shaq All-Star Comedy Tour. So, what do we feel about Deon Cole? Do we feel that number 9 is the right spot for him on the list? Who wants to start?
Well, again, it's hard to say because just like, you know, Frank was saying, we don't know, you know, what the other people, what else it looks like, because he is definitely, you know, I'm proud of Deon. You know, I've just, you know, we're friends, and I just have heard, you know, the process, and I applaud him. You know, he's an example of hard work and, you know, just being at the right place at the right time, and then, you know, just staying ready and being ready, and it just popped.
Okay.
We can put him in 9 right now.
Okay.
That I think that might change though, depending upon who else is on the list.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
I would flip him from 9 to 10 and 10 to 9. That's what I would do. That's my opinion.
So you'll put DeRay at number 9, and then we'll have Deon Cole.
Yeah, because DeRay has films, television, and stand-up. He's got, you know, right now he's got strong on TV.
Yeah.
Definitely strong on TV.
Okay.
But no film. You know
Yeah,
what
I
mean?
could agree with that.
So I would flip him. But that's, you know, again, that's my...
Tony?
Yeah, I would do the flip as well, just in terms of visibility. He's not as active on Twitter as DeRay, and you know, the film thing that DeRay has as far, and he's more of a writer, so you know, he's behind the scenes a lot.
Yeah.
Like you may not know that he writes for Conan.
Yeah.
But like, you know, but in terms of visibility and like, you know, comedy specials and stuff, I would have to switch with DeRay.
Yeah.
But they could both move up in
Possibly.
this top 10.
Yeah.
Depending on who else is on this list. But let me just say this. I like all the Chicago-ness that is going on right now. I like that.
Because this dude right here, he can't front. Deon is a beast, and
Definitely.
He is.
And his show got taken off the air wrongly, in my opinion. The Black Box, you know, I don't even think it got a fair shake. I don't think it got good marketing capability the way it should have been marketed right. Probably didn't get anything, and people in our audience didn't know the way that we should have known about this show because the marketing dollars wasn't behind it. And then it gets shut down. So that kind of hurts him on this list.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had the show, then boom, it was taken off. So,
You know, what would be great is if it went to another network or something like that, but to keep going, because he has a great comedic mind, and you know, we're definitely going to be hearing a whole lot more from Deon Cole.
Definitely.
And he thinks out the box.
Definitely.
That's
Yes.
important.
Yes.
Number 8, Bill Bellamy.
Number 8.
You know, he's on currently on a successful tour right now, Ladies Night Out tour. Right, he has 2 song anthems. You know, he's a consistent guest on TV shows, and you know, he has his TV show as well, Mr. Box Office. So, Number 8, and he's pretty big on social media as well. He's pretty big on Twitter.
But based on the criteria of the list, if you again, he'd have to fall because right now he'd be after Deon. I mean, he'd be after DeRay. He'd be before Deon.
So he would drop to number 9, and then DeRay.
That's my opinion. Yeah, because
go up to,
all the stuff you just mentioned, he's strong on, but he hasn't been in any films for this from January to this point right now. We haven't seen him. He has filmed some, but he hasn't been released on any films that's been out just yet. But his Ladies Night Out tour is bananas.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way about it. He's putting a whole new spin on sexy and comedy that has never been done before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He created a whole lane of comedy for comics to even go in that's never even been thought of, and he's been doing it since 1990 with Def Comedy Jam. You know what I mean? But again, this list is not based on what all your past accomplishments is on from January to December. So that's my opinion.
Michelle, Charles?
No, I agree with Frank.
You agree? Mm-hmm. Michelle, you agree? Tony?
I agree too. Yeah, I would slide DeRay up again.
So we'll sliding DeRay up to number 8, and we have Bill Bellamy at number 9.
The criteria. If it was just on stand up, it'd be one thing. If it's on, now if we base this list on stand up, he'd be ahead of everybody because his Ladies Night Out tour is strong.
It's killing right now. Yeah.
He's better than Cat. He's better than Deon. He's better than DL. He's better than everybody. But again, this list is not based on that. So
Okay. Next, we have at number 7, Lil Duval.
Same thing. Same thing. He just fell too.
But okay, here's okay, because Lil Duval, he has his TV show on MTV2, Ain't That America, right? You know, he has a big social media following. He's also on Guy Code and Guy Court as well. You know, and he is still actively in the comedy clubs. I know he was just at Caroline's and stuff like that in New York. So
the people love him.
the people do love him.
The people do love him.
But
it's the movies.
It's the movies.
It's like
if you create that list, we got to stick to those guidelines. He just fell all the way to the bottom because how many movies has he been in this year? How many has he even made an appearance in? Like how many has he even walked through?
Yeah,
and it takes nothing away from him because
if he bought any tickets to go to movies this year.
Exactly.
Wow, that was funny.
Exactly.
Tony?
Yeah, well, I had to slide him down. I would put maybe give him number 10.
Okay.
Maybe
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
10 spot.
Yeah.
I mean, his social media presence is crazy. Like he has tons of followers, and he's getting that TV notoriety. But in terms of I've never seen him do stand up, and I don't know how strong he is. I know Deon is strong. I know DeRay is strong. Bill Bellamy is strong. I've seen all these guys live and just rip on stage, and as a comedian sitting here on the couch, you're gonna have to be a strong stand-up for me to be like, oh, I'm gonna move him up, and I haven't seen him do stand-up, so I can't I'm biased though on the stand-up tip.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say about Lil Duval is that some comedians are I don't want to say local or regional. Regional is probably I should say. He has that southern market on lock.
That's true.
And for his comedy to translate out here to a Los Angeles or do the Ontario Improv or different cities like that, I think it would be hard. The thing that saves him, though, is the fact that he has such a large social media following. Yeah. And then that kind of pushes, the ticket sales. But as far as his writing style and his delivery, it's regional. And it's geared more toward that South, the down home, that younger crowd that is a little Duval.
Didn't I tell you I like him? He says everything politically correct.
It's good.
He's the man right there.
It's good.
That's the best way to say it.
Well,
yes.
And I'll give Lil Duval credit because I remember, he's one of the comedians that if someone was to say, what comedians have reinvented themselves over the years? I think he definitely has because I remember him from Comic View as Roland Powell. No disrespect, but, and just to see him, making that change. And I'm not saying he's the only one that's ever done it, but just to make that change and to run with it and, just go with it. And then now he just reinventing himself. So
cutting them dreads off helped a lot too.
Those cornrows.
Yeah, but how good would he be in the East, upper East corridor? You know what I mean? So that's
with the locks, right?
Yeah, no, without it. I'm just saying
without.
now as a listen. I don't have nothing against him. The dude's a beast on social media. I saw him perform a couple of times. I would drop him all because he's to me. I don't think he's better than all. He's still funny. I don't think he's better than the guys you have listed. Ahead of him. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So he's like the 2 Chainz of stand-up. He changed his name. He changed his name. He reinvented himself and exploded.
Yeah.
That's what 2 Chainz did.
Let's go back over the rankings. We have Lil Duval at number 10. We have Deon Cole at number 9. Bill Bellamy at number 8, and DeRay Davis at number 7.
D-Ray's climbing, ain't he?
Yeah,
I told y'all it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, why is he here at number 10? Explain this.
All right, now we have Lil Rel here at number 6.
Nice.
Lil Rel.
Lil Rel, been called the one to watch. He has a half-hour comedy special with Comedy Central. Legions of Goons TV show is currently in production on the Shaq All-Star Comedy Jam. He's on the new BET Comic View Centric Comedy All-Stars. He also has a deal with All Def Digital, Russell Simmons' channel on YouTube. So how do we feel about Lil Rel being number 6?
He's moving on. He's moving up.
Yeah.
And I know that when he did the In Living Color, got chosen for that. That definitely helped.
Yeah.
Who cares whether or not it got
Picked up, right?
picked up. It was like you were chosen and you did it.
Yeah.
So it's good to see, someone like him, that was, from that whole camp with Comic View years ago, that is, reinventing themselves and just, keeping it going. So that's good. But no films.
Right. So you know what that means.
Right.
Yeah, you know what that
Ready
means.
to-
But see, me personally, Lil Rel, in my opinion, that dude should have blew up years ago. He's one of the funniest comics in the country. He's been on my list that I created for the last 4 years as one of the comics to watch for the following year. But all the deals he potentially had always fell through from nothing to do with him, but because of back end or something else from something on television networks or films or whatever else happened. But this dude, when it comes to, not only I've picked him, Variety's picked him, Hollywood Reporters picked him.
Yeah.
Bill Bellamy has even said, this guy's the one to watch. Arsenio loved him, gave him a, now recently he did a stand-up thing on Arsenio, like 2 nights later, he's on the street with them. Arsenio loves him. I even hear that they're trying to bring him on board, to stay as a writer or something. Like this guy, comedically, he's a beast. Come to writing, he's a beast. He's got all the things. He should be on the list, but the only thing is, Chicago.
I was gonna say that.
The only thing is, according to that criteria, he's no films. But it's no, nothing against him. But it's coming. He's on whitelist. He's on blacklist.
Yeah.
And 5 years from now, I guarantee you, he's gonna be one of the hottest comics in the country. And 5 years from now, or maybe a little less, he's gonna be in that group that everybody's talking about.
Done?
When I first walked in there and looked at the top 10 comedians list, who did I say? I said Kevin Hart, Lil Rel.
Yeah.
Definitely should be on this list. Chicago once again. He's a comedian, and when I watch him, I'm like, I need to do better. Like every time I watch him perform, I'm like, man, let me get my notebook out to work on my stuff. He's that guy, and he's killing it. I can't put him above DeRay right now for the year, but he's right there behind him. It's like bam, DeRay number 6, Lil Rel number 7. On the strength of DeRay had the Showtime special, he had the Comedy Central special, and the only thing DeRay had an hour, to Lil Rel's 30 minutes, and so you got that neck and neck. Strong stand-ups, but no movies, and DeRay he's hosting the TV show. So, it's still, Lil Rel's still catching on, he has the crossover appeal, so definitely, and I think they both going to still move up. They're going to end up in the top 5 of this list. So, Lil Rel.
You think so, top 5, even though he has no films?
I want to see who else is on this list first.
I do too. I
think he's going to end up in the top 5.
But see, the thing is, he said you got to have film, you got to have TV, and stand-up. So
Yeah.
And social media
and
presence.
social media.
And social media
Out of those
presence,
four
so we
things, he
gotta-
doesn't have one of those
He's
four.
just missing TV.
Ex-
Now, who
no,
else
he's
is
not
on
missing
this
TV.
list?
He's missing film.
Missing film.
He missing
Oh,
film.
that's what I mean. He's not.
Exactly.
He's missing film. That's
Now-
only one piece.
Right, and so that would drop, in my opinion, that would drop him all the way down to number 10. I mean 9, because he had a Lil Duval. Because when it comes to Lil Duval, he got more television than Lil Duval, and not as big as social media presence, and not as funny. I mean, we gonna be honest, not as funny. He's funnier, and he's got more potential right now.
So you putting him at number 9?
I have to, because of the. I wouldn't for funny, and if we doing the best top 10 of stand up for the year and everything else, he'd be in the top 5.
Oh, without a question.
Without a doubt, he'd be in. Matter of fact, he might be number 2. You know,
in
if we
terms
doing
of-
that.
Oh yeah.
But we're
yeah.
not doing that. This brother right here said the list is comprised of, and I was like, ooh. So that that's what I mean. Like
Social media.
social media,
TV.
film, TV, and what was the other thing?
And stand up.
And stand up.
He's only missing movies though.
Okay, well now if we want to do amendments of the list, but that wouldn't be fair to a couple other people we already discussed.
No, yeah, because you got to take it as the overall. You know,
I don't
so
know about his social media presence though.
It's not as big. It's not as big like
it's not as strong as it could be. So,
okay. So
it will be.
Right.
Yeah, it
It will
definitely
be.
will be.
It definitely will be. By this time next year, it
So
will
you
be.
putting Lil Duval ahead of him?
No. I'm putting him ahead of Lil Duval.
Okay.
I'm
yeah.
saying he's ahead of Lil Duval. He's number 9. Lil Duval's number 10. You know what I mean? Because Lil Duval doesn't have, the same.
He's his stage.
I would give him
His stage is not on
it's
par.
it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, too.
I would
Yeah.
give him the slight edge over
No.
Deon Cole though because of his heat right now.
Yeah, I could agree with that too.
So 8.
Said,
Charles?
I agree with that too.
Yeah.
So he'd be at 8. Yeah.
8.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
So we're putting Lil Rel at number 8.
I'm putting him at number 7 though.
In your head.
He is
Yeah,
at,
mine.
But that's just Chicago talk.
yeah. that ain't the, that's not the real
If you leave
deal.
it up to me, it's gonna be Deon Cole, Lil Rel, and DeRay Davis in the whole top 10. Corey Holcomb.
Right.
Okay.
Chicago.
So we have Lil Duval at number 10, Deon Cole number 9, Lil Rel number 8, Bill Bellamy at number 7, and DeRay Davis at number 6.
That just don't seem right, do it?
Wow.
It don't seem right, but according to your criteria, brother, that's what we gotta do. So.
Number 5, we have Dave Chappelle.
Who's that?
Dave Chappelle, he's the comic. He's headlined the Oddball Comedy Festival for Funny or Die right now. And he still managed to sell out performances. And at the end of the day, it's Dave Chappelle.
If this list was on stand up, he'd be number 1,
Right.
Because he's selling out and has been.
Yeah.
He hasn't done one film for the calendar year January to now. We haven't seen him in one film.
And the things that we've seen on television have been done years
ago. He hasn't done any TV this year. He's not. He really shouldn't even be on the list because he doesn't have 2 of the criteria that according to his list. He shouldn't even be on the list. Realistically, right?
Yeah.
I mean, which is
And
almost.
that's
We love
crazy
him.
to say
Yeah,
when
but
we're
it's the
talking about a
truth.
Dave Chappelle. But if we're going by the criteria of the list,
He shouldn't even be on it.
you don't put a Lil Duval and Dave Chappelle on that same
List.
Exactly.
level.
Exactly. And that's really bananas to say because every time he's done these shows all across the country, he's selling out everywhere. He's doing.
Right.
He goes in one weekend. He went to what was it, Northern California. He did 4 shows sold out, and then they tried to cram 4 more shows. So
And again, Tony probably could speak better than this than I could, as far as being a writer of comedy and his perspective,
Oh, yeah.
and just a blueprint for other comics.
Yeah.
You don't get too much better than that right
No.
there.
Yeah.
but it's almost a crying shame to have him on the list and Lil Duval on the list, and it's just not even fair because he hasn't done. I mean, it's just not fair. Now let's do another list later on about best stand-up
About
of the year,
stand-up, yeah.
and tell me who's better than him. For the calendar year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony, I mean,
In terms of pure stand-up comedian list, he would be at the top, or
Sure.
top two, whatever. But all he's doing is stand-up.
yeah.
So in terms of he's not tweeting, he's not doing anything else. So
That's right. He's not tweeting. So you got
No,
three.
there's
Yeah, that's
no-
three of the things on.
He has a Twitter though.
But
He
he's
has it,
not
but he's not
tweeting.
He's
tweeting.
not, yeah.
He's a pure stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Right now. That's you know what I'm saying. We going just by the year, you know. In terms of movies, he has several movies.
He's
But, like,
right.
and you know, one of the funniest television shows ever made, in my opinion.
Sure.
Ever made. But in terms of this year, he's got to fall.
Yeah, there hasn't been ever a better sketch show. You right, Tony?
Yeah, he has to be number 10.
So we're
So you think he should be on the list,
Nah, yeah,
even though
well,
he doesn't have
Well,
to?
we can't take people off this list, right?
Well, okay. Well, here's the thing, though, because let's say if he falls off the list, then maybe one of the contenders for number 10 could
Put Corey
jump
Holcomb
up
in
and,
this top
exactly.
10.
I would do just
Let's
that.
get Corey
Move
up in
everybody
there.
up and then put Corey
Let's
in
keep
there?
it. Let's
Okay.
keep it
Just
Chicago.
that.
But no, let's put Corey in there on the strength.
Nichelle?
No, I agree with what they're saying.
Okay.
That's good.
So, Dave Chappelle knocked off the list.
Oh wow.
That's crazy to even.
Knocked off the
no,
list.
I vote to keep him on there somehow. Are we taking a vote?
I'm taking a vote because he doesn't
Okay,
have
he's
three of
out.
the criteria. You know, he doesn't have.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
just a stand-up.
Oh,
He like as of
Honorable
right
mention?
now.
There you go.
Yeah,
Honorable
we're
mention.
definitely
If
honorable
we
mention.
switch this to just stand up, though,
Definitely honorable.
definitely.
If we this is to just stand up, that whole list changes.
We have Corey Holcomb at number 10. Lil Duval rose to number 9. And then Deon Cole is at number 8. Lil Rel is at number 7. Bill Bellamy is at number 6. And DeRay Davis is at number 5.
Okay.
All right? Moving on to the next person. Marlon Wayans coming in at number 4. Marlon Wayans created as the new comedy film franchise, The Haunted House, and Haunted House 2 will be coming out. Launches new comedy network, What the Funny, and that'll be launching, I believe, is in February. National tours with his brother Sean, and he's been consistent.
Yeah, definitely.
So, do we agree with Marlon being number 4 on the list?
I do. I can't think of anything to take him off.
Right.
I mean,
He's hitting
he's
all
at that
of
spot.
them.
Yeah, he's
He's
hitting all
hitting
of
all
them.
of them.
Hit all
Yeah.
of them.
Social media. He's starting up his own, website company, movies.
I don't think we've seen him on TV, though.
Yes,
but
he did. He did some TV this year. I just can't remember what it was. He did something on an NBC show or something. He did a guest appearance.
And he was
a couple
on
of-
Second Generation Wayans.
Yeah,
too.
he did
was
that.
on
So,
that.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he did
But in
that.
terms of, but he's the type of person that this guy's a movie star.
Yeah.
So he doesn't necessarily need TV once you get to a certain level in your movie career. Like,
Yeah.
TV is not, some actors go back to TV after they've been kind of,
Dry
cool
on
at the box office
yeah.
for a while. But, with him, that wouldn't be a knock that he wasn't on TV this year to somebody like that. So, yeah, I can't move him down.
So we all agree?
I would
Yeah.
definitely agree, and I keep going back to the club manager part. He sells tickets,
Yeah.
so you definitely have to take that into consideration.
That's true.
And then it's also good that he's giving back.
Yeah.
He's helping. He created the network.
What the Funny.
What
Yeah.
the Funny, and of course it can't just be Marlon. So, just giving the younger ones a chance to, and even some veterans just a chance to expand and get their brand out there. By sharing his brand and all that. So that's a good thing.
And one of the cool things about Marlon is once you get one Wayans, you get about 7.
Clan.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of
I would
them.
have to say too, the way he's doing What the Funny is going to change comedy web portals than anything that we've seen. Because right now we only can compare it to Funny or Die, but the way that their business model is going to roll out is going to be something that we haven't seen. So
Yeah.
he's on the cusp of getting ready to change comedy, something than anything anybody's seen. And I think he's going to start it out first by letting people see what it is, and get used to coming,
Yeah.
and then he's going to try. From what I hear, he's going to try to change that to be like a not just a network, but not just to use the word loosely, network, but to really be a network where we're going to see people like Tony have a TV show. Instead of just a sketch, you're going to have a TV show on that network. You can tune in every week and see a TV show. You can see sketches, but you can see and now who else is
see,
doing
like
it?
actual series.
Yeah, and then you can
stuff
see
like that.
stand up, and you
Yeah.
can see, I think that's what and with the relationships that they have,
Yeah.
it's going to be bananas. They might even
The ties go deep.
Yeah, and they might even launch movies on that. What
That's
the Funny.
good.
So right now, from what I've been hearing and from what I'm seeing from the calendar year, like right now, he should be number 2 from all the stuff that's going on. But we'll see what the other people
He
are
has
ahead
the
of him.
potential to move up this
Yes,
list.
potential
Yeah.
move up. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
through all of that he's doing, he's still touring.
Yeah.
On stage.
Hold on, number 3.
Jesus.
Okay. Mike Epps.
Mike Epps, right? He's a successful national tour. He has upcoming roles that are, going to display his diversity, because like what we've seen in Sparkle, so he had something that was, not necessarily comedy. He got the role as Richard Pryor for the Nina Simone biopic that's supposed to be coming out. And, and he's, there you go, constantly giving his fans online content.
And he did a special or 2.
Yeah,
Right.
and he did a special as well. Yeah.
And he did a couple of he does sketches a lot. He stays
Right.
active on social media. You're like, yeah, he should be ahead of
It's
Marlon.
pretty current as
Yeah.
far
Yeah.
as when news stories break or something like that. He usually comes out
With a hot sketch.
Yeah.
He understands what's going on by having a presence in social media. I don't know how I'm sure Nichelle and Gooch could talk more about how he is when he comes on clubs and everything else. He loves to give back, and he's still funny years later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with keeping him right where
Giving
he's
him
at.
number 3.
Yeah.
Michelle?
Keep him.
Tony?
I might have to switch him with Marlon. On the simple fact that Marlon has a bigger following
yeah.
on Twitter. He has over 1 million followers. I don't think Mike's that high.
Really?
And-
He's not at 1 million followers?
No, I don't think so. Y'all can check
Yeah,
right
we
now,
can-
but
we can
I
actually
don't
check.
think he's that high. In terms of, and Marlon has that extra added bonus of behind the scenes acumen that I don't know if Mike has or not. Like in
I
terms
agree
of
with you.
producing
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
and writing and stuff like that. Marlon's on tour. I don't know if is Mike on tour.
Yeah, he's on tour.
He's
Yeah.
on tour, so you both have that. And Marlon has the films like the Haunted House and the Haunted House 2 coming and a website.
Yeah, but
Okay.
and he has a Code Black Jeff Flanagan behind him, helping him sort the stuff out too. So
Yeah.
he got a little extra behind. Yeah,
But I like what you said
Well, yeah,
with Marlon having that behind the scenes and the writing, the directing of it.
I agree with
Well,
him.
I don't know if
You
he's
gotta flip
directing,
him.
but
Yeah.
So Mike will be number 4, and we'll put Marlon up to,
Yeah,
to
number
number
three.
3. Okay.
Wow.
Next one, number 2, we have Hannibal Buress. As the first comedian to be verified for rap lyrics on Rap Genius, as co-star of the Eric and Andre Show, Grand Theft Auto 5 feature, worked on Funny or Die's Oddball Comedy, and Curiosity Festival, worked on a second special at Comedy Central. He's a stage favorite as well.
But
Go ahead, Frank.
no, just the list. The list is what it is, Gooch. It's how many films has he been in this year?
Yeah, there's been any film this year.
There you go.
yeah.
There you go. TV is a beast. Social media, a beast.
Isn't he writing on SNL too?
Yeah, he did a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And can we just make sure we throw this out here? This dude is funny as all
Hilarious.
get out.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Oh
Yeah.
my God,
He's
this guy
hilarious.
is a beast.
Again, we're not doing a list of best stand-up.
Right. I don't even know if he would be on our top 10 right now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to agree.
I will throw this in there. Chicago once again. Just putting that out there. But yeah, I can't have him that high on this list for the year for everything that we're doing in terms of criteria. As a stand-up, definitely, man.
Wow.
But now let me ask you, since he didn't do any movies, but he was featured in a game, one of the highest selling games of this year.
That's not on the list, though. You didn't put that as part of
True,
the list.
no, but I
No,
true.
you do have to give a credit to that.
I agree.
He's on one of the best-selling games of all
Okay,
time.
but
Yeah.
okay,
that
but
counts for something.
Okay, it might, but then if you want to start adding comedy voices or you want to add voices onto the list, that list changes also because
Why?
there's tons of comics who do voiceovers who are very good and in some very, very big games that we just don't know about. You know what I mean? And because the game is so popular, you just don't know that that's a comic doing those voices. You know what I mean? Like Call of Duty, and I mean, just go down the list.
But
So-
since we couldn't pull that out and anybody mentioned, like 'cause
That's true.
I gave Corey Holcomb voiceover credit for like the Cleveland show, but I don't know if anybody else has done any voiceover for any other games this year.
none of those
Grand
people on that
Theft Auto,
list. DeRay
D-Ray
has.
did in the past though, like
Right.
for this year.
And Corey has, I think he even did a game. I don't know if it came out this year, but
For this, because D-Ray's done
He
a
did
ton
the,
of
beat,
voiceover
the
work.
beats by Dr. Dre,
right.
Pill,
Who did that?
Corey did.
Oh, nice.
I thought that was Earthquake.
No, that was Corey.
Okay. But anyway,
in terms of like TV, behind the scenes, the writing and stuff like that, he's done a lot.
Yeah,
Like,
he should drop, but he
should
shouldn't be
drop.
off
He
of-
should be in this top 10 though.
Yeah.
Okay.
You think?
Yes. For the year,
Yeah,
yes,
that writing
absolutely.
is
His buzz
impact.
is incredible.
I would agree there. I would put him probably 8 or 9 then.
That's what I'm saying, like right
Yeah.
down there.
But he's
above,
definitely-
But
He
Lil
should
Duval.
definitely be
let
in
me
this top 10.
also say this too, is that Chris Rock did give him, like he's almost passing the torch to Hannibal as well.
Yeah, but the torch ain't passed just yet. Until that torch is passed,
Okay, so where
should
do we want Hannibal to
I would say
land on
around
this list?
8, or who's? Can you read the?
Yeah,
bar?
we'll go back through it. So at number 10, Corey Holcomb. Number 9 is Lil Duval. Number 8 is Deon Cole. Number 7, Lil Rel. Number 6, Bill Bellamy. Number 5, DeRay Davis. Number 4, Mike Epps. Number 3, Marlon Wayans.
I would place him over
Little Duval.
Lil Duval.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Okay, so you want him to
and that's
be
almost sounds.
so it's all right. So over Lil Duval and under Deon Cole.
No,
I would put him.
how about?
I would put him slightly above Dion
Yeah.
in terms of the year, like the
Yeah,
the
calendar year?
terms of the
Calendar
year.
His
year,
name
Yeah.
is
okay.
popping
What is it?
up.
Yeah.
His that writing is.
I would put him.
Yeah, he's a beast.
So you put him at number 7 then.
How about 6A? Can we do
His-
A?
I would have to.
A, B.
It's
You're
tough
right.
between him and Lil Rel though. It's
No,
'Cause they-
not on credits for the TV for the calendar year from January to December. No, it's not. Not on the credits alone because he's done way more. Lil
that's
Rel-
what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
I may have to put him above Lil Rel.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought. That's
so
what you're saying.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
number 6
Yeah.
is where we want
gonna
him
have
to
to.
go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he had the Comedy Central special, so did Lil Rel,
Right.
but he's got a ton of, and he's on the billboard right now on Sunset.
And he's filmed some
Boulevard
films this year.
for the Eric Andre show.
And
His
he's
face
just
is on the
limited.
billboard.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
so,
got
That's
to
true.
know that.
That's
Okay.
true.
so it's like, yo,
And he's filmed some films this year and got cut out some films that was supposed to be put out, and his scenes got cut. That was supposed to be in some stuff that came out this year too.
okay.
That's why I'm not taking him off the list because he has been in film.
Yeah.
The director just put some of that stuff on the floor.
Yeah.
So
we can't give
DVD
you
extras,
we can't
yeah.
give you the cutouts though.
can't get that.
Right.
But he was on set.
There's probably
There you
several
go.
other people that's been on this list that's been cut out.
That's true too.
You know what I mean?
I was in Hunger Games.
But that was cut out.
I was cut out though. guys.
Right.
So all right, so as the list stands right now, number 10, Corey Holcomb. Number 9, Lil Duval. Number 8, Deon Cole. Number 7, Lil Rel. Number 6, Hannibal Buress. Number 5, Bill Bellamy. Number 4, DeRay Davis. Number 3, Mike Epps. And number 2, Marlon Wayans.
So then
Some of these cats above Bill Bellamy too.
Okay, well we will go through the final
Yeah,
list.
because
until you after
Yeah,
your name.
yeah,
Okay.
well,
I
maybe-
hear Lil Rel and Hannibal's name a lot. You know, even though Bill has the TV show and he has the tour, he's still pretty.
And because he's on Twitter, his social media.
Who Bill
It's
Bellamy?
about-
Yeah,
No, it's not.
yeah.
Is it?
I don't know. Like
So.
for me, I hear their names a lot more than Bill's. Just
But now,
on
but
the-
let me ask you: Do you hear it just in the comedy circuit, or do
I
you hear it
just
all over? Period.
randomly. Like I'll hear Hannibal like randomly, like a Grand Theft, and then
And you're hearing the white circles and black
white
circles.
circles.
Yeah.
The crossover appeal of Hannibal is just
It's
ridiculous.
above everybody.
Well,
on the
actually,
list.
it's like I wonder if he appeals to the black audience. I don't know if he does or not.
Good point, because he really doesn't.
I don't know if he does or not.
He really doesn't compared to the white audience. You
I
put
know
him for the
Lil
white
Rel
audience,
does. I know Lil Rel has the crossover more so in terms of black-white audiences.
Yeah.
He's definitely a
When
good
I'm
product.
driving and if I'm listening to Sirius, I hear more of Hannibal than I hear of Bill Bellamy.
Okay.
I mean, I just find that interesting. I don't know if it's because the things that we hear, Hannibal is probably newer, but you hear Hannibal a lot more, especially on the white stations and on the more mainstream stations.
So do we want to keep him at number 6 for right now? Let me just ask you guys that.
Yeah, I'm cool with
Yeah.
We'll
that.
keep him. We'll keep him at,
I
at
think he
number
should
6.
move above Bill.
Yeah, he should definitely be.
So
in the top
okay,
10.
so switch because Bill's at number 5. So you want to switch
Yeah,
Hannibal
switch.
and Bill?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bill's number 6 and Hannibal Buress is number 5.
Okay.
I can live with that.
Okay. Number 1.
Nick Cannon.
Which why isn't he on the list?
Right.
We have Kevin.
Right.
That's true.
Why isn't Nick
Why isn't Nick Cannon on the list?
Yeah.
Kevin Hart. Right, this man, 6 to 7 upcoming movies. He's the 6th highest paid comedian according to Forbes. He has a show, Real Husbands of Hollywood, that's on BET. His box office hit, Let Me Explain. His NBA All-Star Celebrity Game 2-time MVP. 9 million Twitter followers, and Instagram, I think it's like 4 million, something like that too. And he's still on stage now. He really he took a little break, but he's back on stage. He was at the Laugh Factory last week.
He's filming Real Husbands right now as we speak.
And he's filming Real Husbands Hollywood right now as we speak. So, Kevin Hart at number 1.
Yes.
Do we keep him here?
That's hilarious.
Of course,
Do we
man.
keep Kevin Hart here?
Of course.
Yes.
Is there
On the
something
strength-
higher than what?
I gotta ask the question.
On the strength of this year alone, he could be number 1 for the next 3 years. Just on the
Right.
strength of this past year.
Right, because he's going to be in 2 TV shows next year,
Right.
6 films next year. You know what I mean? And some of those films are going to bleed into 2015.
Yeah.
He also booked, another 4 more films. So
Right.
Everything
Great, he just
the
said.
work he's putting in is incredible.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
just for anybody beyond comedy. It's like you can put him in the top 10 of just actors right now. For the
Black
for the
actors
past
for the year. Yeah.
Just anybody. Like it's just ridiculous. Like he's everywhere.
I think we
That's
should have
true.
a conversation of who's 2 to 10, and then number 1 is who he is. Let's figure out who's
Right.
2 to 10.
He's
Okay.
everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. So I will run through the list. At number 10, we have Corey Holcomb. Number 9, Lil Duval. Number 8, Deon Cole. Number 7, Lil Rel. Number 6, Bill Bellamy. Number 5, Hannibal Buress. Number 4, DeRay Davis. Number 3, Mike Epps. Number 2, Marlon Wayans. And then Kevin.
What?
And then of course there are people. I don't know. I mean, I think if you look at who's not on that list, I think the biggest name is, like he said it as a funny way, but it's really true. Like, why isn't Nick Cannon on that list? Because Nick's been on 3 TV shows this year. You know what I mean? He's been in a couple of films this year. He's still touring. He's DJing. He's huge Twitter following.
Yeah.
He's got 3 websites, 2 or 3 websites he's
Right.
maintaining. He should be on that list.
And running a headphone company
Yeah.
and a network.
Yeah, and a network. And what is it, Nickelodeon? He's still head of
Married to
Nickelodeon.
Mariah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and married to Mariah.
And
Yeah,
he's got
it's a
10
job in
babies.
itself. Right?
Yeah,
I
the
would
baby.
put him in place of Lil Duval, but
Yeah.
in terms of stand up, there's nothing.
Right.
There's nothing there
right.
in terms
Well,
in terms of the year.
he just had his stand-up special.
That was a
No.
couple years. That was
No,
like,
wasn't.
we
No.
know.
No,
he
he
just did another one?
he
He
just
just
did one called F. Nick Cannon.
Yeah, just came
oh,
out.
Yeah,
is
just
it
came
out?
out.
Yeah, it's
Is
on
that-
Showtime right now.
Oh,
On
okay,
demand. You can see it right now.
Yeah, he should have been on this list then.
See?
I didn't even know he did the special
but
though.
do you want to put Nick Cannon on the list?
Yeah, why not? If we're going to keep the list real and authentic, right?
Based on the criteria, then yeah.
Somebody,
So
somebody
who-
would be coming off that
Who
list.
is because number 10 right now
Sorry,
is
you slide him in and bump everybody
Corey,
down.
Corey Holcomb.
He's
He's number
That's
10.
a pure
So you want
stand
to
up, man. I don't want to take Corey
keep him
off
there.
that list.
so who? Yeah, I mean, because and I'm gonna say this. I feel that Lil Duval is a personality more than stand-up comedian. So I would take Lil Duval off the list, and I would slide Nick Cannon. That's what I would do.
Okay.
I would do that.
All right.
I would do
Let's
that.
do that.
I would
agree.
do that.
Because,
But-
like you said, regional.
Yeah,
in that way.
exactly.
He's coming, but it hasn't happened
not,
yet. Nick
yeah.
Cannon is.
Nick is global
Right.
almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not almost. He is. There's no doubt about it. He's global.
Now, where on the list
9.
do you want Nick to
Nine.
fall? 9.
Take it
I
right.
think
Take
so.
it right out of the.
over Corey.
He has to be
in
over
terms
Corey.
in terms of like business ventures and all that, film, TV, all that, yeah.
Okay.
Because Nick Cannon is a brand.
Honestly, if you all really want to keep it authentic, he should be number 2 because he's bigger than everybody except Kevin. You know what I mean? Realistically,
No.
globally
He's not-
wide.
I wouldn't-
I'm not
by
but Stan-
Forbes.
Yeah, if you go by, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Forbes, and if you go by social media, his social media is bigger.
But he's not on the stand-up tour like Marlon is.
No, he's not. But he's touring, and he got a special out. He's got TV shows out.
But
Is
okay,
he
no,
touring as a
but
comedian,
no,
though?
he's touring as a DJ. He's not touring
Yeah,
as
he's
as
not.
as
okay,
a
let's be.
comedian.
Let's.
He taped a
What do you
special,
call
but he's
touring?
not touring. I'm talking about.
Hold on. I'm gonna make my point. What do you call touring? Because before he filmed his special, he did like 20 dates to gear up to get his special ready.
To get it together.
So now, between the calendar year of January to December, he did a tour this calendar year, which allows him to be on the list.
How come I didn't hear about this tour?
That says a lot about his stand-up. If you didn't hear about it,
it
says a lot about his stand-up. You know what I mean? But again, his audience was full of more white folks. It wasn't all black folks. It was more white folks.
I didn't hear nothing about this tour or this special. Like, I would see the Wayans brother tour pop up in several places. Like, oh, they're gonna be here, they're gonna be there, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I didn't know nothing about a Nick Cannon tour or a special. So
He
it's
did
like
20 days.
it's something weird about that.
Hell, he might even did more than that.
But okay, but now, like, were they clubs or were they venues?
Some of them were venues, some of them were clubs, depending on what the
Depending on
promoter
what
felt
they
that they
were
could
able
fill
to.
in. Everything,
And some were just Mariah's family. They just got together.
Come on, come
on
see
through.
Nick. Okay, so let's run through this one last time. Number 10, Corey Holcomb. Number 9, Nick Cannon. Number 8, Deon Cole. Number 7, Lil Rel. Number 6, Bill Bellamy. Number 5, Hannibal Buress. Number 4, DeRay Davis. Number 3, Mike Epps. Number 2, Marlon Wayans. And number 1, Kevin Hart.
I'm loving all of Chicago on this list.
Yeah, you guys are funny.
There's a lot about
This
it.
year.
That was funny.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, and so and really, for the folks at home, if you disagree with anything on this list, please be sure to comment, subscribe, let us know. So for the list next year, there'll definitely be some different
Ladies on the list.
Ladies
There's gonna
on
be
the
some
list and
definite
everything.
disagreements.
And so now, where can people find you guys on social media, Charles?
You at Facebook, Charles Patrick Gooch, or Twitter at Gooch Charles or Charles Gooch.
Okay, Michelle?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as Michelle Murdoch, and that's with an N like Nancy.
Thank you. Right?
Please visit my website, humormillmag.com. The Twitter stuff, all that's good, but it's all there. So, humormillmag.com.
That's true.
Tony.
My Twitter and Instagram is Tony Baker Comedy. My website is TonyBakerComedy.com, and on Facebook, TonyBaker.comedy. So hit me up, guys. I need you so I can be on this top 10 list one day. You know what I mean?
Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, you can find me all over the internet at The Nick Purdue. See you next time.
Thanks.